Fishmaster off his own boat?
I got a call, or really rather an email from a crew that sounded very distressed. They said they're Fishmaster, and when I say Fishmaster on a tuna boat, the Fishmaster is the captain of the boat. They're the boss, they're the one running the show. And I'd heard in the past that we've had trouble with this particular captain. And I took pride in taking care of all my guys while I was there. And I was very upset that for what they told me, if any of it was true, I was not going to stand for it. So I immediately got a flight out of Guadalcanal and made my way to the island of Tarawa in the Kiribati island chain. It's a major drop-off point for the tuna fish industry. And I flew out there, and mind you, Tarawa is a skinny little atoll with the runway on one side and Beto Town, which is their capital town, on the western side of the atoll. And some of that atoll is nothing but a two-lane road and ocean on both sides of it. It is very remote. No taxis, no nothing. So I show up there with nothing but my bag on my back and hitchhiked from east to west. Got to Beto Town. Never been there before, totally winging it, but I'm driven by this anger in me that this Fishmaster is in port and he's being abusive to my crew, and I was not going to stand for that. Made it to the port of Beto Town, Port of Tarawa. Found what I thought to be the boat offloading way on the horizon. Talked down a local into taking me out there, of course, paying him, of course. And as we set off and we get probably a mile offshore, his boat breaks down, and again, with my trusty never leave home without it Leatherman, fixed his darn outboard engine on this boat and made it out there to this particular Fishmaster's tuna boat. I told the taxi service to wait for me. I boarded the ship without permission. I didn't ask anybody. I just came right aboard. Went right up to the flight deck and found my crew and asked if they're okay. And they're just as surprised as anybody that here I am, Boss Mike, has showed up out there in the middle of nowhere to deal with this personally. I told them I'm about to go confront the Fishmaster. If you hear anything bad, or if I yell, "Get out of here," you're to immediately take off and fly to this particular boat that I'd already made arrangements with to take the helicopter and my crew. Then they got ready, and here I went right down to the bridge. Walked in, and there he was, and he turned, and immediately we made eye contact, and I could tell he was not going to have it, but I was not going to have it either. And I got really good at bluffing while I was in Africa, and I put those skills to work this day. And he was a Korean gentleman, probably about 5'6", and I'm quite twice his stature. And I lean over him, and he starts to say something, and I said, "Sir, if you even look at me in that tone of voice, I'm going to grab you by your nostrils, drag you off your bridge, and throw you into the ocean. Then I'm taking my helicopter and I'm moving it 2 boats over, and you will never have a helicopter again on any of your boats. Do we understand each other?" He didn't say a word. He came to a 6-foot hover, shaking angrily, and stormed off the bridge. And I turned around, and behind me was the ship's chief and the ship's first mate. And the chief had a wrench in his hand, and I simply said, "Do you think you're going to do any better? Stand aside, or let's get down to business." And of course they both backed out of my way. I went back up to the flight deck and told my crew, I said, "If they do anything insinuating violence or hazing or anything which you don't like, you're to leave the boat. So long as things calm down, you're to stay with the boat. And I want a daily report on the attitude of this guy." And I immediately got off the boat, went back into town, which that taxi service, even though I had to rebuild his engine at sea, still demanded that I pay him full price. So I guess I'm going to pay him full price. And went back to my hotel room. And as always, I positioned myself in such a way nobody can approach me from behind. Same as I've been my whole life. And I hear this commotion at the gate. And I look up, and here comes that Fishmaster, and he's just barged through security, and he's coming straight for me. So I'm getting ready for a fight. I'll go ahead and get my little pocket knife out, because again, I can't fight. That was totally a bluff, and he's about to call the bluff. And he comes right up to me, bows, and hands me a bottle of Johnny Walker Black. And I understood quickly that this was a big deal, and he was making a formal apology. So of course I bowed and said "Kamsahamnida," which is thank you in Korean. He stood up very briskly and turned to walk away. And I quickly said, "Sir, please sit down and share this bottle with me. I accept your apology. Let's talk." And he smiled real big and sat down next to me, and we've been pretty close friends ever since. And that was the story of my aggressive Fishmaster out in the island of Tarawa.